What's going on, y'all? It's Coach Williz, man, and this is the Be Eazy Show, man. You know, on the Be Eazy Show, man, we cover topics about success. We learned about why success is personal, what success means to a community, right? And what is the driving force that makes us wake up every single day and go after the things that we want in our life. This is the Be Eazy Show, man, so be easy. What's going on, y'all? It's Coach Willis, and once again, we are back, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Be Eazy Show, man. Once again, we are back, man, with another motivational Monday as always, man. Trying to do our best, you know. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope everybody's week has been going well. Hope your week has been treating you well, man. Hope things have been going in your favor. And even if they have not been, I hope you still been persevering and getting through it, man. And seeing it as if they can get back into your favor, man. So I just appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We're going to go ahead and get right into it, man. As you can tell, the topic that we're touching over this week is studying yourself, man. And as important as this is, man, I do not mean studying like for school. I do not mean studying for a job. I do not mean studying, you know what I'm saying, the Bible or the Quran. I do not mean studying those type of things. I mean studying yourself, as in whoever you are. So it's me studying Isaiah Willis. That would be me studying myself, you know, and me doing the necessary research that I need to figure out who I am, man, because I went to go play basketball just yesterday, man, and when I was out there playing, it was a guy, man, I guess you could say, man, I guess he took it seriously. And I go for a shot and he blocked my shot, right? And he said, man, you soft, man. And he was like, man, get that out of here, man. You soft. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, man, you're great, man. So I run down court, man, and he has the ball and he's going up for a layup and I block his shot. I said, man, you're great, man. And I don't know why, but I found myself getting offended at this, man. And the reason why I'm telling y'all this is I was getting offended for no reason at all. Like I don't go out there and hoop so I can be the greatest basketball player of all time. That's not why I'm going out there to hoop. I'm only going out there to hoop just to get an exercise in. That's the only reason why I go do that, man. Yes, it's entertainment and it makes the exercise easier, but that's the only reason I'm out there, man. I'm not out there to be the greatest basketball player of all time. That's not why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's simply just to get an exercise in, man. And I could find myself getting pulled into what other people are doing because I don't know what I want for myself. And when you don't know what you want for yourself, you can end up getting swayed and doing any other thing, man. This is why you need to study yourself. Study yourself for what you're good at. Study for yourself for what you enjoy, man, because you can find yourself doing things that you don't even find entertaining. You can find yourself doing that you don't even find purposeful in your life, man. And I need you to understand what is going to be beneficial for you and what is not going to be beneficial for you. And the only way for you to know that is by you studying yourself. I had to do this for myself, man, and I had to start thinking in my own head, man, what is going to work for me? Because, see, I figured it out, man, when I stopped playing sports and when I was really on this transitional period in my life of figuring out what am I going to do and what I'm not going to do in my life, I found myself just doing a bunch of different things. And I found myself being entertained with all these other things that I was doing instead of me simply just focusing on one thing because my mind was so scattered and my mind was wandering and doing all these other things because I didn't know what was good for me and I didn't know what was not good for me. Right? I thought at the time everything was beneficial for me. I thought at the time everything was going to do me good. I thought everything was going to be working out in my favor because I thought just with the simple drive that I had of me wanting to be the best at everything that I do, I thought with that simple drive that's going to relay into results. That's going to relay into being profitable in whatever I'm involved in. And I found myself understanding that, man, that's not always the case. And it comes down to a fact of you really loving whatever you're involved in. You really loving whatever you're really into. And if you don't study yourself, man, you won't know really what you love. You won't really know what you enjoy. You won't really know what's beneficial for you, man, if you do not study yourself and figure out what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. So I was like, okay. I had to start doing this, man. And I was just talking to one of my homies the other day, and I was telling him, man, because He's so caught up on all these other things that he thinks that he can do, all these other things that he thinks that he can be great in. And I was telling him, man, I was the same way. And I know it was like four things that I was really on the fence with that I wanted to do, man. One, I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a farmer. I wanted to get into I wanted to be a financial advisor. And the last thing was I wanted to be a content creator. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do all these different things, right? And I found myself going into just a whole transitional period where I was trying to drive four different ways, and that caused my car not to go anywhere. It's like going into an intersection, like, and you don't know if you want to go straight, if you want to go back, or if you want to go north, south, east, or west. So you're just sitting in the intersection just looking all the way around, but you don't know which direction you want to go, so your car just sits still. And that's what I came to. I came to the intersection, and I had to make a decision over which path that I wanted to go. And see, I was so caught up because I knew each path I could be successful within, right? So that's what I'm saying. Even within these other things that you think that you should be doing, you can be successful in all those areas, but you don't understand that even though you can be successful in all those areas, it does not do you any good to go within all those areas and try to do all those different things, right? You got to figure out what works for you and go down that path for yourself. So I figured this out for myself, man. And what I was doing was I would journal. I would go into my room, and then I would journal. So I would write down, hey, farming. Why do you want to be a farmer? Right? Why do you want to be a farmer? Why do you want to be a chef? Why do you want to be a financial advisor? Why do you want to be a content creator? Then the next question I would ask is, what are you going to do with it? Like, what is the reason behind you doing this? Like, what are you going to do with being a farmer? What are you going to do with being a chef? What are you going to do with being a financial advisor or a content creator? And the last question is, how are you going to get it done? How are you going to get it done? And what I noticed was those being a farmer, financial advisor, and a chef didn't make it past the why. Because my why was so small. My why was only because I want to grow food for myself and I want to know where my food comes from. Well, that's great. And the same thing with being a chef. I just want to be able to cook healthy meals for myself, right? That's great too. Being a financial advisor was, I just wanted to do it just so I know the investments that I make, that my money will grow over time. And that is great too. That all, like I said, within all three of those areas, I could be successful. But when I came to a content creator, I was like, man, why do you want to be a content creator? Because I want to give hope to the hopeless, right? I want to give inspiration, motivational, and transformation information to people to help them become their whole self, help them become their best self. That's why I want to do it. So I was like, oh, your why is not just attached to you. So when you get burnt out, when you don't feel like you're doing, when things ain't working out in your life, when things aren't going the way that you want it to go, your own personal relationships ain't linking up and they not seeing eye to eye, right? The things that you think is supposed to fall in line, they not falling in line the way that you wanted to. You still gonna be able to push through all that, and you still gonna be able to come out here and make content. Because it's not just attached to you. It's attached to somebody else. It's attached to somebody else's success, not just your success. And you do well when others do well. But see, when it came to farming, if me and my fiance got into it, I didn't want to farm that day. Why? Because that just dealt with me. You see what I'm saying? If I was going and my money wasn't right when it came to farming, I would stop farming. You see, if the weather was bad, or if I got tired, I would stop farming because it only dealt with me. You see what I'm saying? And then the next thing was like, that would be the same with the chef, the financial advisor. When it only dealt with myself, I struggled. But see, y'all going and y'all doing all these different things, y'all involving yourself in all these different things, and you don't really know what works for you or what doesn't work for you because you haven't taken the time to study yourself and figure out what you want for yourself. Right? And that's just a career standpoint right there. That's just something that I do as far as something that's, you know what I'm saying, professional. That's my profession that I'm in. It can be other things as well. What you don't understand, see, some of us are getting into relationships and we're confused over why this relationship isn't working the way that we want it to work, simply because we don't have a real definition of what we want love to be for ourselves. We don't even understand what we want our partner to do when it comes to them loving us. Right? We don't understand that. We don't understand what we want for love when it comes to loving ourselves. right? We don't know what we want these things to be for ourselves. We don't know what type of workout routine we want for ourselves. We don't know what type of diet we want for ourselves. We don't know what type of belief system we want for ourselves. We don't know what these things matter to when it comes to dealing with us. And so we seek outside approval, we seek outside attention, we seek outside information. And I'm not mad at you if you going and getting information from other people. I'm not mad at you if you got supporters in your life that want to support you to do well. And I'm not mad at you if you got people in your circle that you learn from. I'm not mad at that at all. But what I'm tripping on is that you never go and do it for yourself. The Bible says, study and show thyself approved. It didn't say go learn from everybody and show yourself approved. It says study and show yourself approved. And by you doing your own personal studying, you can start to learn these facts yourself. You can start to learn these stories yourself. You can start to understand those parables yourself. And that knowledge that you get from that reading, that knowledge that you get from studying, you can start implementing that into your own life. Because you have dealt with it firsthand. You figured out what it meant for you. You figured out how it attached to your story. And you figured out how by it attaching to your story, how you can do something with it. And by now you doing something with it, you can use it in a way that's going to transform your life and help you become a better person. But when you just taking that information from somebody else, that becomes harder to do it. I need you to touch down in your core and figure out where this resonates with you as an individual. How can you go into and figure out what love means to me and how love can be beneficial to me and how I can give my love to be beneficial to somebody else, right? But when you just waiting and you waiting on everybody else to start giving that love to you, everybody else start doing other things for you, we get nowhere, and we get no real success that we seeking in our life, man. So I had to start doing that for myself, and when I started going down that path, man, and trust me, like this is why I want y'all to understand, man. This is why I get so twisted, man, because even within myself, I was so impatient when it came to learning about myself. I was so impatient when it came to me actually figuring out what I like to do, what I don't like to do, right? You don't go into a math class and the first day of math, you like, man, give me the final. Give me the last exam of the whole year. Give me the final. On the first day, give me it all. I'm ready for the final today. You do not do that. No matter what class you in, no matter what school you going to, you don't show up the first day of class and say, give me the final. I'm already ready. Give the whole thing to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm already ready. I can take it all. You don't go to no job and say, man, give me all the responsibilities day one. I already know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never worked up here before. Give me all the responsibilities. I can handle it. You do not do that. You go through a training when it comes to a job. And when it comes to a school, you go through a studying process. Right? You go each chapter at a time and you break down each formula. You break down each way to do this problem. So that when it comes to the end of the semester, you're ready for the exam that's coming your way. The same thing goes when it comes to studying yourself. You have to be able to break down these things yourself and understand that this is going to be a process, that this is going to take time because you haven't gone into it every single day studying yourself. You haven't gone into it every single day and learning more about yourself. You haven't gone into it every single day and figured out what you like to do versus what you don't like to do. You don't do that on a regular basis. You mainly do it over what people tell you is good and what people tell you is not good, right? But that's the mainstream, y'all. I just said this on the podcast not too long. That's the mainstream. That's the mainstream, y'all. And just because the river is flowing this way, that does not mean that that's the way that you're supposed to go. I'm not talking about mainstream culture as in pop music, Hollywood. I'm not talking about that type of mainstream. I'm talking about your mainstream when it comes to your life. The direction that your life is going because you're not questioning anything. The direction that your life is going because you're not putting up any fight for anything. The direction that your life is going because you're not asking, is this for me or is this not for me? You just going with the mainstream because everybody else is doing it. You see what I'm saying? If everybody else in your environment is smoking weed and you don't see nothing wrong with it, what you gonna start doing? Smoking weed. If everybody in your environment is not going to college and getting degrees, what you gonna do? You gonna go and get it? You ain't gonna get no degree. Right? If everybody else in your community is not doing investments, they're not trying to grow their money, they're not trying to start a business, they're not trying to create generational wealth, they're not trying to improve their family, they're not trying to get married, they're not trying to raise their kids, they're not trying to do the things to make sure your family not only survives just one generation, but it survives generation moving forward, and you can have wealth passed down from generation to generation. If they're not doing these things, then you're not questioning it, you're not trying to do nothing different than what you're going to find yourself doing. The exact same thing that everybody else around you is doing. doing because you just going with the mainstream. But when you take the time to study yourself, when you take the time to figure out what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you, you go at it different. You go at it different, man. And you don't do the things that everybody else is doing because you start to understand this is what I'm doing for me because I know what I need for me to make myself successful. With the help of God, no doubt about it, with the help of God. But you understand, even by that and studying what God wants for you and not what God wants for everybody else in the world, when you do that for yourself, you start to move in a direction that's going to be profitable for you. And you start to seek success as what it is in your life. When I talk about this, y'all, I'm talking about it in the sense of what your vision is. So if you don't study yourself, you're going to adopt somebody else's vision. I can only speak about this because I've done it myself. I didn't know what my vision was when I was in the seventh grade going to the eighth grade. I found myself just trying to be Kevin Durant because the Oklahoma City Thunder had just came to Oklahoma like a few years ago. And they were booming. They had just got Harden. They had just got Westbrook and they had Durant. I'm talking about they was on top of the world until we had to face LeBron in Miami in the finals. Until we had to face LeBron in Miami in the finals, hey, we wasn't on top of the world. But at that time, I seen somebody that looked just like me. Kevin Durant, I seen somebody that looked just like me. And I thought that I had the ability to do what Kevin Durant was doing. So what did I find myself doing? I was cutting grass with my pops, man. Ended up saving up some money. And what did the first thing that I did when I got the money? I bought a basketball goal, I bought a basketball, and I bought a new pair of shoes to practice in. I put the basketball goal, me and my pop set it up in the backyard, and I was out there every single morning, y'all. Every single morning I was out there practicing basketball. Right? I was out there practicing basketball. And all I was trying to do was be just like Kevin Durant. I was trying to adopt his shot. I was trying to adopt his crossover. I was trying to adopt his defense. I was trying to adopt every single thing that Kevin Durant was doing. And I was creating my vision into being Kevin Durant. But see, this is what we don't understand when you don't study yourself, and when you don't understand really what you want and you don't understand that people are not going to be the exact same person that you are. God made you uniquely, right? He made you a unique individual, right? And this is the thing. Kevin Durant, when he was hooping, because I was studying him. I was studying Kevin Durant, and it didn't even click my mind that this dude was not me because I was studying him to try to become him. But when I started to figure out that Kevin Durant is not me, I was like, oh, okay. If you really study Kevin Durant, the reason why he wore 35 until he got his championship, the reason why he wore 35, because I know he wears 7 now with the Nets, but the reason why he wore 35 because his AAU basketball coach died at the age of 35. And you like, oh, okay, that what? Like, what are you trying to say? That's what I'm saying. His AAU basketball coach died at the age of 35. So Kevin Durant's not hooping to try to impress Isaiah and to try to make sure Isaiah can do everything that he's doing. That's not why this dude is hooping. This dude is hooping because his coach died at 35, and that's why every time he got onto the court when he played with the Thunder, even when he played with Golden State and he had the 35, he would touch his numbers on the front, and he would touch his numbers on the back, and he would point up to heaven. That's why this dude was doing that. So he ain't hooping just to impress Isaiah. This dude is hooping because he told his AAU basketball coach that he was going to win a championship. And when his AAU basketball coach died at 35, now this dude has got a different reason for playing. And you out here trying to be him. You out here trying to take on his vision when you don't understand the drive and the force behind him, the power that he has living within him, the belief system that he has living within him. You can't adopt that because you don't have that same belief system of yourself and doing the things that he's doing to achieve the things that he's trying to achieve. And yet and still you trying to go out here and be him. You trying to go out here and be your favorite rapper, your favorite musician, your favorite artist, your favorite actor, your favorite whoever. You trying to go out there and be them. That's why the Bible speaks so much against idols. You idling another man. And the reason why you shouldn't idle another man, not just because you can't trust man, but you shouldn't idle another man because you don't know what makes another man who he is. You don't know what makes another man who he is. And you trying to be everything that he is when you don't understand that the things that he is doing, you can't adopt some of that. You can't adopt it. You can't take that away because I didn't have an AAU basketball coach that died at 35. So that drive that he has to win a championship for his AAU basketball coach, I can't take that. No matter how hard I work to try to get that, I cannot take that. But when you don't study yourself, when you don't figure out what it is for yourself, what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you, you end up doing whatever. And you get to that intersection, north, east, south, and west. You get to that intersection, you looking, which way should I go now? Right? Kevin Durant already knew which way he was going. I'm about to win this NBA championship for my coach. So I'm going this direction. If that's east, I'm going east. You see what I'm saying? And you still at the intersection like, oh, which way do we go? Because you not trying to win a basketball championship for your AAU basketball coach. You confused. You need to study yourself, man. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. Right? And I know, man, a lot of us, man, we compromise for people. We compromise because we want to be good people. I know. I compromise all the time because I want to be a good person. But sometimes I have to look within myself and be like, I can't compromise for this. And the reason why I can't compromise for this is because this is me. I know you got a vision for my life, but that's your vision for my life. Let's talk about what God's vision is for my life. You want me to go here and do that, but I can't do that. Right? You want me to go do these things, I can't do that. Because that's not what I need. That's not what's going to make me successful. Right? Keeping up with somebody else's hype, keeping up with somebody else's goals, that's not going to make me successful. And I found that out real fast because I practiced that whole summer. The reason why I'm talking about I can beat all y'all in basketball is because I practiced for one summer. So any of y'all want to work, y'all can have it. But from the end of my 7th grade year, as soon as we hit the summertime, all the way up until my 8th grade year when the basketball season started, I did nothing but hoop every single day. I was practicing every single day, working on my shot, my crossover, every day. Every single day, man. That's why still in my own neighborhood that I grew up in, I still claim that I'm the best in that neighborhood ever. Anybody come in that neighborhood to try to play me, I will beat them. I'm the best in that neighborhood, man. Because I practiced for that one summer. But hey, if you want the work, you can have it. But that's the thing though. When I got to my 8th grade year to go hoop, right, what did I do? I was on the bench. I was like the 9th man on the rotation. And you know, in basketball, they may only do 7. They may get to 8. But if they get in the 9th, that's because somebody's even down. They struggling that game. Or y'all up by a lot of points. But normally they're not getting to the 9th guy on the bench. And even farther down. But I figured that out real fast that, hey, after that 8th grade year and I set the bench, right? What did I do? I stopped playing basketball. I stopped playing organized basketball forever. I was like, this ain't for me. Right? And how can somebody like Michael Jordan get cut on the team for playing basketball and still come back the next year after he got cut on the team from playing basketball and come back and be known as one of the greatest players of all time? Why? Because he studied himself. And I'm not saying that he literally sat there with a pen and paper and was like, oh yeah, I want this and that. I'm not saying that he did that. I really don't know what he did. But I know that this man had a vision for himself. And the way that you develop a vision for yourself is by studying yourself. Because you know what you want and you know what you don't want. I don't want to not be playing basketball in Michael Jordan's sense. He didn't want to not be playing basketball, so he figured out a way to keep playing basketball. This dude got cut, and then he came back, and now we all know who Michael Jordan is. You see? But Isaiah didn't have that same drive. I didn't have that same drive to when I was sitting the bench because I was studying. I was trying to become somebody else. So now when the heat was getting put on me and it's not getting put on Kevin Durant, I'm like, Kevin Durant, bail me out because heat is getting put on me. You know what I'm saying? I burnt up like a Chris because I was trying to chase somebody else's vision. And I didn't have enough belief within myself to keep up with their vision. That's why you need to study yourself. That's why you need to develop true discipline for your vision. You need to figure out what your vision is for yourself because pressure is going to get put on you in life. That's going to happen. Things ain't going to go your way in life. That's going to happen. But what you cannot let it do, if you know that this is really the way that you want it to go, no matter what comes your way, no matter what tries to trouble you, you going to figure out a way to get it done because this is what you want for your life. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that you become successful within this field. You see what I'm saying, man? So understand, man, your vision, it has to be personal for you, man. And not just personal for you to the sense that it's just all about you, but it's got to be personal to you that you know that the individuals that you influencing, right? The individuals that you influencing, they can be able to move a certain way because you handled yourself a certain way. I'm not playing with this, man. Like I said, those other things that I wanted to do before, those things didn't really work out because they were just attached to me doing well. But when it came to the sense of me doing the stuff that I was doing, like I said, this being a content creator, I knew that I was influencing other individuals. So I got to make sure within myself, I'm doing the best I can to be my best self. Because I understand that individuals are looking at me to be that person that I'm claiming myself to be. Right? And it don't have to just be in content creation. Oh, I got to be this holy guy. No, it's Michael Jordan was the best player the best player to play basketball at his time because he understand what he was saying to the world. You know, and not just his words, but also in his actions. So I need y'all to, man, take the time to study yourself. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? What do you like? What do you love? What do you dislike? Right? Study yourself, man. Take time within yourself, within your busy week, your busy day, busy month, whatever. Take time to study yourself and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, man. So, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. No matter what platform, man, you listening to this on, man, follow us on the social media, Instagram, TikTok, man, at Coach Williz. Coach Williz with a Z. Follow the podcast, the YouTube videos, man. We coming every single week. The Be Eazy Show, Be Eazy Show, the Easy with a Z, the Be Eazy Show, man. Follow us, man. Like, subscribe, comment, give us a 5-star rating, y'all, and share the word, man, because it's well appreciated, man. So it's Coach Williz on here once again, y'all. Be easy.